welcome back to my channel. It's Megan, and today we are doing all of the books that I recommend for fall. I do have one other video that I think has some good recs in it that I did last year or maybe 2 years ago, so if you'd like to check that out, you can click up here and watch that. I do recommend those books as well. I even wrote them down on my list to recommend for this video and then went back and watched that and was like, I don't want to double up. So these are all new books that I have not recommended in a fall book haul recommendation video before. So let's get into it. And of course, I've got my Gilmore Girls Luke's Coffee Diner shirt on because what's more appropriate for fall than Gilmore Girls, you know? I'm not a huge like scary horror, thriller, suspense, mystery, really type of book person myself. I'm much more on the fantasy romance side. So these are all more fantasies that have a fallish or spooky-ish element to them. So bear with me here. These are just books that are fantasies that I think would be good to read during fall. First up we have Gallant. This is probably the spookiest book on this fall recommendations video. So this is top tier and this is as far as it's gonna get. Gallant follows the story of a young girl who discovers that she has magical powers and a magical past that she never knew anything about. She was orphaned in the beginning of the book, and then she comes to find this kind of found family, and there is this wall that they're guarding, and in order to keep these people back, they must not cross the wall's barrier. And there's ghost elements, there's just a lot of spooky themes in here. It's a standalone, it's a young adult, it's by V.E. Schwab. What more could you want? It's really, really good. I highly recommend this one for spooky season. Okay, so next we have our just really cool spooky-ish fantasies. And there's no real like grouping this. They're just fantasies I really enjoy that I think are good at fall time. First, another V.E. Schwab. We have A Darker Shade of Magic. This says Shades of Magic because it is the French edition. I'm gonna be 100% honest, I was feeling real lazy and didn't want to pull out the A Darker Shade of Magic English edition from the bottom of the shelf. So I pulled this one out because it was easier access. But it is A Darker Shade of Magic, in which we are following Kel, who can travel between the 4 different Londons. It's got magic, it's got fighting, it's got a fierce, awesome female character, it's got romance, it's sublime. Next we have The Merciful Crow, in which we are following Fi, who is a bone charmer or something like that. She can like use magic using bones, specifically teeth. And she is paired up with these fugitives who turn out to be the prince and his bodyguard after the prince has been labeled dead, and they're going back to try to retake over the kingdom. So much fun, highly recommend, and The Faithless Hawk is out so you can read the whole series. Next we have The Shadows Between Us by Trisha Levenseller. This is a paranormal romance, and honestly this little synopsis does a better job of describing this book more than I ever could. Alessandra is tired of being overlooked, but she has a plan to gain power. 1. Woo the Shadow King. 2. Marry him. 3. Kill him and take his kingdom for herself. That's all you need to know. It's fantastic. Love this book so much. Next are our witchy books. First we have Truthwitch by Susan Dennard. I can't even begin to describe this series. It is so complex. It starts off so vague and you just learn and pick up details as you go on. So I can't even like begin to describe why you should read this series or what's so good about it or what the plot is. Just know that it's a really good book and it's really fun to read, and I highly recommend it. Try to read this. On a continent ruled by 3 empires, some are born with a witchery, a magical skill that sets them apart from others. So each of these people we're following, I believe each book follows a different witch. So we have Truthwitch, we have Wind Witch, we have Blood Witch, and then Witch Shadow I think is another one. So we're following like different perspectives in these books. We're following a bunch of different witcheries. There's political intrigue, there's romance, there's so much happening, and it's a lot of fun. Next on the witch category is The Witch Haven by Sasha Payton Smith. This is a really fun dark academia fall spooky season read. We are following a young girl who discovers she has magic, so she's taken to this academy. However, things at this academy don't really feel right, so she's trying to learn more and get out in the world and potentially even escape the academy. So there's a lot going on in this book. It's a very quick read, but it's a lot of fun. Haven Academy rules for young witches. 1. Mind your instructors. 2. No unsupervised spell work. And 3. Don't leave after dark. So the academy has like a lot of stringent rules and schedules and things that they have to follow. This just doesn't feel right to our main character. So yes. And the final book of the witch category is a graphic novel. This is Hooky Volume 1 by Mariam Bonistrateur. I love this graphic novel so much. It's middle grade-esque in that the main characters we're following are younger children. However, this is the most complex, like thorough, put together story I've read in a graphic novel in a while or ever. It's very thick, but it's so much fun. We are following these young witches who have been sent on the quest to like get on the bus to school. However, they missed the bus, and instead of just like, you know, being like, hey, we missed the bus, can you take us, they're like, no, we're gonna get there ourselves. And they meet up with like a Merlin type character, and they meet up with this princess, and there's so many shenanigans going on. But then they discover that the academy they were being sent to is like really bad and like not a good place to go. So it's just a wild time, let me tell you. It's so much fun. I loved these characters. I love this illustration, like this art style. Highly recommend this as a cozy fall read. And our final category is our retellings category. These are retellings that have like a spooky fall vibe. First up, we have my favorite book, I think of 2020. I forget if it was 2020 or 2021. All the years blur together now. But that is Legendborn by Tracy Dion. This is a Black Girl Magic King Arthur retelling is what it's pitched as, but we are essentially following Bree, who learns about this secret society, and they try to wipe her memory from being like exposed to her, and it doesn't work. She still remembers everything that she saw, and she tries to infiltrate, and there's romance, there's root magic, there's King Arthur lore. It's so much fun, and definitely one of my favorite reads of the year. I read it, I can't wait to read it again, and I also cannot wait to read the sequel, which will definitely be on my list for this fall. Next, we have a villain's perspective. This is Malice by Heather Walter. It's not an official Maleficent retelling, but it's pretty heavily obvious that it takes notes and hints of the Sleeping Beauty story, and in this we are following the Maleficent-esque character. Her name is Alice, and she falls for Aurora, or the Sleeping Beauty-esque character. It's a sapphic villain perspective retelling. I don't know what more to tell you. It's amazing, and Miss Rule's out, so you can also read that one as well, which is the sequel. And finally, we have Little Thieves, another villain retelling. This is following Goose Girl, and we're following the villain's perspective. So instead of following the princess who gets everything stolen from her, we're following the handmaiden that does all the stealing, and why she does it, and what happens after she does it. And this is so good. Painted Devils is, I don't know if it's coming out this year or next year, but it's not out yet, but it's coming. And look at this like artwork. Honestly, this is one of my favorite books I own. Look at that hardcover. Yeah, I really enjoy this one. There's like a mini Sherlock Holmes-esque character. There's a bratty princess. There's a lot of morally great characters in this book, and a lot of these books actually, but it's a lot of fun. I highly recommend this one as well. So those are my fall book recommendations. Let me know what books you guys recommend for me to read this fall, and I'll check with you in my next one. Happy fall, y'all. Bye, friends.